Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Counter HD here. We're going to brand new video today. We'll be breaking down the Arizona Cardinals' loss to the Tennessee Titans. With that being said, let's hop straight into it. The Arizona Cardinals lost to the Tennessee Titans 23-26 in a very close game that could have gone either way. But let's look at the positives of this loss. Keontae Ingram, our 6th-round rookie, ended up having 61 rushing yards in this game, and honestly, I think it helped close the gap on him being in this running back room, which I do think he'll make it. But it is still up in the air about our number 2. Speaking of our number 2, though, Benjamin, who has been probably talked about most as being Arizona Cardinals running back 2, had an amazing catch early on in the game by going up and just nagging it out the sky. But other than that, he really didn't have too much of a game, showing why he should be the number 2. But Darrell Williams, another player fighting for that number 2 spot, had a touchdown. Now, both him and Eno had 9 yards, but I think a touchdown definitely separates them. Now, looking at the receiving side of the ball, Andy Isabella definitely stepped up this game, and with having 115 receiving yards, with a 74-yard completion to the 3-yard line, which was a beautiful play. And I'm not gonna lie, watching that, it made me feel like the Halloween game against the 49ers when he did the exact same thing, but he scored the touchdown. It seemed like the same play, everything. And Greg Dortch also had a good game, 6 receptions, 64 yards, and a touchdown. And definitely making it a tough decision on who should be in this receiving room. But I think as it stands right now, Andy Isabella and Greg Dortch both make it. Especially with Hopkins being out the first 6 games, it opens up that spot. I think both of them make it. Which I'm not going to, I've been very impressed with Andy this preseason. Now, obviously, it's not starting players, but he's definitely showed improvement from these last couple seasons. And I look forward to see what he can do in this upcoming year. But we have to talk about Victor Bolden as well. Victor Bolden had 4 receptions and 51 yards. He also muffed a punt. But in the very next drive, went out and got a 37-yard pass. Now, he's been someone who's been very good this season, this preseason, and has shown promise that I think we will end up signing to the practice squad. I think we might be able to end up seeing him play later on in this year, though. And now defensively, we looked, honestly, kind of good and kind of not. We obviously let up, but we actually saw a lot of promise from Cameron Thomas, another rookie that we've been trying to see for a while, when he had 2 sacks, which very good to see because he might end up being our starting edge rusher week 1. So it's very good to see him having 2 sacks, as well as our other rookie having half a sack, Myjai Sanders. Good to see him get in there. Now, he also had almost another sack, but then Malik Willis pulled out that sidearm on us, and honestly, great throw, great everything. Malik deserved to complete that thing. But one last thing before we talk about the bad things of this game. Manny Jones. I never heard of this guy. Didn't see anything on him. He had a sack and he had like 3 tackles for loss. He was stopping that run game, and honestly, he was doing very good. So I think he might be a late addition. So I don't think this will be the last time we see him, but he might make the practice squad. Now going into the bad. Now, obviously the Cardinals didn't win the game, so that in itself is a bad thing. But we did see more penalties, which it looked like we were going to lessen the amount of penalties this season in the first game we had of preseason. But ever since then, we've slightly gotten more and more penalties, which is not looking like a good thing. So hopefully within these next 2 weeks we can just strain that out. But that was not a very good thing for us. Another thing, we did let up a lot of rushing yards. They had a couple of explosive runs there, and there is really nothing we can do besides those couple tackles for losses we had. And also Malik Willis. Malik Willis tore us apart, and honestly, he looks very promising. So if you're a Titans fan, you should be excited. He's going to be something in this league. But he definitely tore us apart. He hit us with a sidearm, like I mentioned earlier. Beautiful for a touchdown. He was running everywhere. He did a great job. And offensively, we produced pretty well, but we kept settling for field goals. Which, putting points up on the board is putting points up. But at the end of the day, we want to be able to keep them drives going and be able to get into the end zone. So with us not really finding our feet when it came to those critical third downs, it was kind of tough. And as I also mentioned earlier, we did have that muffed punt, which ultimately led to them putting points up on the board, which was obviously not ideal. But besides that, I think we had a very solid game all around. You know, we kept putting up points. We put up points in every single quarter, which is a very hard thing to do, to stay at a level of consistency like that. But ultimately, we did lose in the end, which sucks, but it's preseason. This is where we get to see our young stars and people we don't normally get to see go at it and show us that they deserve a spot on the roster. So it does suck that we lost, but I think we got a lot from this loss that we will see in week 1 against the Chiefs. But that's going to be a video. Let me know down below your guys' thoughts, and be sure to hit that like and sub button. And with that being said, I'll see you all in the next one.